What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I just got a new skid plate for my Tenere 700. I wanted to share with you guys my choice. There's almost no YouTube videos of this skid plate. I'm probably the first, besides the actual installation video and the overview from the company itself. I got myself an Enduro Engineering skid plate for this thing. And why I went for that brand, you might ask. First reason being is it's one of the cheapest options as far as aluminum skid plates go. Obviously, there's the plastic Acerbis skid plate, which is like $130 something, but I do not want to go with a plastic skid plate on this bike. And I'll explain that in a little bit. The Enduro Engineering skid plate is only about $6-7 more expensive than the Tusk skid plate. And there's one huge reason I went with the Enduro Engineering skid plate over the Tusk, and that is this fifth mounting point right here. This is really important on the Tenere 700, and let me explain why very quickly. These frame rails here that you see that actually hold the skid plate on, you can see they got little mounting tabs down there. These aren't actually frame rails. These are essentially just bars for a skid plate. This is a stress member chassis, meaning that the motor itself is part of the frame of the bike. These aren't needed for the integrity of the frame. They're just there to hold a skid plate. They do nothing more. The one reason I don't want to use just the 4 mounting points is because Yamaha states in the owner's manual that these cannot support the weight of the bike. Now that's a problem, right? Especially for a skid plate. And that's part of the reason why I don't want to use a plastic skid plate. A plastic skid plate flexes a lot, right? Plastic is a very pliable material. So if you take an impact on one side, the impact will be focused to that side. Since the skid plate is plastic and it's flexible, my thoughts having a very durable, thick, kind of rigid skid plate like that, you take a rock or something to it, and instead of flexing and bending, or one bar taking the impact like plastic would, the force is kind of evenly distributed, seeing that it's a massive, giant chunk of aluminum. And like aluminum alloy, like this skid plate here, is not pliable. It's not a very bendable material. In a lot of circumstances, that material will actually just snap before it bends. It's very unlikely that it would though, just because it's so thick. I believe that's 6 millimeters thick aluminum, which is, that's really thick. So yeah, the Enduro Engineering skid plate has a 5th mounting point though. You can see 2 bolts, one right there, one right there. It actually mounts to that bottom bolt there as well. And you can see that actually is part of that frame tube that goes across to the other side. It's not the swing arm, it's just below the swing arm. So yeah, that's kind of the reason I went with it over the Tusk. Plus, this just has more like engine coverage than the Tusk as well. And the fact that it's $6 more expensive, that's not that much. That's nothing in my opinion. So yeah, that's the main reason I went with that. I'm not bashing plastic skid plates. I had a plastic skid plate on my WR250R. I would run a plastic skid plate on an enduro bike all day long, but not on the Tenere 700 for the fact that these rails here are not meant to support the weight of the bike. I essentially want more support there. Yeah, there's been issues of guys cracking these, running crash bars that hook up to them too, due to these not being able to take the lateral forces that push this way. These bars are meant to take upward force or forward force. They're designed for a skid plate. They're not designed to have crash bars attached to them. So yeah, I'm actually not going to be running crash bars on this bike. I actually bought a set of fairings, the Camel ADV fairings, the polypropylene, I believe it is, to replace these side panels here. This is ABS plastic, really brittle. I mean, you bend it, it cracks. Polypropylene is what dirt bikes have. It's the very bendable, very impact resistant. So I'm pretty excited to get that in the mail too. Really cheap too. We'll do a quick comparison here of the stock skid plate versus the Enduro Engineering. About a 1/4 inch thick. And then the Yamaha skid plate, a 1/16 of an inch. Maybe a little bit more. It's nothing though. There's this skid plate I can almost bend with my hands. I mean, yeah, it's flexing as I do this. This skid plate, on the other hand, no chance I'd ever be able to bend this at all. This is very stout. Quality welds as well. So I don't understand why the skid plate is so cheap. This has roughly this is roughly the same quality as any other high-end skid plate that costs $300-400. So maybe they're just priced low to get themselves out there. But man, this fifth mounting point was the winning factor for the skid plate for me. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a skid plate. I was originally going to go with the Tusk. But yeah, this is a solid piece of aluminum here. So yeah, that's the reason I went with it. I'm gonna get this installed on the bike and then I'll get back to you guys quick. I mean, installation is pretty straightforward. Enduro Engineering actually has a video out for this bike on installation, so I'm not gonna cover that, but I will report back once I have it on the bike itself. So, all right, well, there she is, guys. Got it all installed on the bike. A couple things to note, it is kind of a pain in the ass to do. They tell you to use or to put the bolt through that fifth mounting point first and then kind of swing it into place like that. But I found it was almost impossible when laying down on the left side of the bike. So the easiest way to do it, lay down kind of right there so your head is like right around, you know, foot peg level, and reach your hand up underneath and screw the bolt in from the back side that way. I found that to be much easier to install this thing. But man, check that out. Looks great. Big beefy skid plate, lots of coverage. You can see it covers a lot of the water pump hoses too. 2 metal lines coming off of there. That's important. Got coverage there. Really covering the oil pan and stuff there too. So yeah, this is a nice skid plate for the money. $206 I think it was, or $207 or something like that. Man, it is huge upgrade from this little tin can. I mean, this is fine for road riding and stuff like that, but man, that's a behemoth. And you can see that's for the, I think it's the Euro 5 model. I got the cat right there too. It's made for this, so yeah, beefy skid plate, boys. She's ready. She's ready for the trails. As soon as I get those, I got the rally seat coming in on Tuesday this week, and then the fairings coming in, and then this bike is done for now. I'm gonna run these tires out. I want to use what I got. I'm gonna use these, wear them down, replace those fairings, rally seat, and then I'm going to do a full video on the build of this bike. But I wanted to talk about that skid plate because not a lot of videos on it, like I said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below in the comments. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, dislike, do what you guys got to do. Appreciate y'all for watching.